my name's Kayla, this is Cinnamon the Score Bunny, and today is the long-awaited map video. A lot of work has gone into this video, so if you enjoy it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. For those of you who are unfamiliar with my map videos, I'm going to be looking at every single trailer that we've seen so far for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and placing all of the clips from those trailers on the map. There is a lot of information to cover here, and I'm a pretty fast talker, so you might want to watch this video more than once. With that out of the way, let's get started. This is the entire map of Paldea. We're going to be starting at the bottom of the map, which is the hometown, working our way up to the city, and then moving our way counterclockwise around the region. This is a view of the southmost edge of the map, looking in this direction. At the bottom of the map, we have these two houses. The one on the left we know is the player character's house, and the one on the right is a little bit more mysterious. There's also this path leading north toward the lighthouse. Here's a Rotom version of this map with the player character's house, the other house, the battlefields behind the other house, and the lighthouse. There are multiple shots of the player character's house from the outside, as well as what it looks like from the inside. The map over here shows the land going off on the northeast. Could this potentially be a connection to Kalos? Moving away from the player character's house, we see this route that leads to the other house. In previous versions of the trailer, there weren't a ton of people on this path, but it seems like that this has changed in more recent trailers. The house across from the player character, I personally suspect is Nemona's house still, because we see this clip of her standing right in front of it, and who just stands in random people's yards, especially when they're that heavily fenced in. This is where we get our starters, though based on the clips we've seen so far, it seems like how we get them is going to be a little bit unusual, since Nemona doesn't even know if we're these three's trainer. On the battlefield behind this house, with the lighthouse looming over, we have our very first battle with Nemona. At first I thought that she chose the starter that was strong against ours, but we actually know from a Pokédex clip that she actually chooses the starter that is weak to ours. As we can see from multiple clips and from the maps, there is beach behind this other house. We see what might be this beach or a beach nearby in a lot of different clips, including ones involving the two legendary Pokemon. Could this be where we first meet Koraidon or Miraidon? Will we need to go back to this location to initially change them into their battle forms, as is shown in this clip? There's this cave behind Koraidon and Miraidon that looks very similar to the cave we enter with Arven to find the Herba Mystica. Could all of these things potentially be connected? Only time will tell, but I think that we might meet the legendary Pokemon pretty early in the game. This is a clip of the path between the two houses without any of the NPCs around because it's a pretty early rendition, but we do see Science Guy is going to be standing in this corner, a staple of the Pokemon series. The sign shown in the Science Guy clip is also visible in this clip with Meowth. We can see that the trail around these areas is a light sandy color. The color of the path, as well as the many features shown in clips with that path, help us place a whole bunch of different clips. Also, there's some early route Pokemon that help us place these clips as well. For example, we see Lechonk here in a couple of different clips. We can assume that these are all pretty close to the beginning of the game. We also have a clip of the path leading up to the lighthouse, as well as the lighthouse itself. Note this spirally rocky structure on the left side, because that's going to be important in placing other clips. That spirally structure is located here on the map. Anyways, moving from the hometown a little bit further north, we reach this section of the map. We can also see that same settlement on this Rotom map. Note that the green arrow is pointing north toward the main city. This is the Pokemon Center on that map. We see a better view of the settlement in this clip. Note this little girl over here playing with Fletchling. This little boy is likely also part of that town due to the yellow roofs in the background and the color of the sidewalk. As we make our way toward the main city, we're going to encounter some different wild Pokemon from the ones we've seen before, as well as get into multiple trainer battles with some different trainer classes. We know because of a clip of the Pokédex that we will definitely be able to catch Pokemon as we make our way to the main city. We will also already have our Tera orbs and be able to terrestrialize. Does this mean that the trainers we encounter will also have this ability? The circular path leading up to the main city connects right here where there is a Pokemon Center and these massive doors which lead to a bridge which leads to the main city. It's here that we have a rematch with Nemona. Note that this is not our first battle with Nemona. We know that is definitely on the beach behind that other house. At this point, she has caught multiple other Pokemon that we're going to have to face off against. So we'll probably want to come to this fight prepared. Plus, Nemona will also have the ability to terrestrialize. Note that this gentleman in the background is the same exact person that we see in this clip, meaning we can probably engage with the multiplayer features relatively early in the game. Anyways, let's head across this bridge and into the main city. The main city is a bustling hub full of so many shops, as is shown from these many Rotom maps. This battlefield is at the center of this city. We can also see some of the architecture around it, and these will give us hints as to which other clips are included in this city. For example, many of the buildings in this city are yellow and have a very particular architecture. There are also a lot of towers and flags, and the tiles on the sidewalk are usually this sort of white mosaic. Some clips are more difficult to place, like this one of Arvin, but we see a brief snapshot of the white tile, so we know it's likely somewhere in the city. The balloon cart and hat sign in this clip allow us to place all of the clips where we're talking to both Arvin and Nemona. And there are some bridges in this main city, as is shown from the Team Star clips here. We see these clips of cafes and restaurants. I think that these are probably in the main city because it has the most shops, but really it could be somewhere else in the region. This clip of Penny has her by the staircase that leads up to the school. We walk down this staircase with Nemona. The staircase seems to have two separate flights, as is shown in this clip. Here's the view from the very top of the staircase. The school seems to have 6 wings with a courtyard in the front and back. Based on the overall view of the school with the treehouse and dome, it seems like we're going to be learning different subjects in each of the wings. In the center is this weird Pokeball structure. Can't wait to see if this ties into the lore. This is a view of the front courtyard in both games. Note the blue circles on the bottom, as well as the columns that are flanking either side of the entrance. These columns support a massive metal gate, though are they to keep something in or out? Anyways, let's head through the front door and into the other courtyard in the back. This courtyard seems to have multiple purposes. For one, it's kind of used like an auditorium in order for Clavel to give a big speech. I'm assuming that we gather here whenever there's a big speech that needs to be made to all of the different students. It's kind of like an assembly, if you ever had those in school, where you have people across grades all gathering in one place for announcements and potentially awards and things like that. It seems like this professor also teaches class here, and it's just a generally explorable area. Professor Sada or Turo seem to work in this school as well, as we can tell from the architecture behind them. While it doesn't look quite like the other teachers' classrooms, it does match well with the exterior of the school. We see this view of the library as well as of different teachers' classrooms. It seems like they all use this blue smartboard type of thing. Also, there's something weird going on with Jacques' classroom. In some clips we see it as yellow and green, but in other clips it has more brown tones. This might just be a redesign between trailers, but it could also mean that our classes don't necessarily always take place in the same rooms despite having the same teacher. It could also potentially be a version difference, with his classroom actually looking different depending on what version you're playing. We know that this clip takes place in the school cafeteria because the windows match other clips of the school. This also allows us to place this clip of Nemona because it has the same type of windows. Moving on from the main city, let's move counterclockwise around the map. We see that spiral tower we noted before, as well as many small lakes and this marshy area over here. We get many sweeping views of this landscape, as well as multiple shots of its map. Defining features of this area includes ponds and ruins. Because of the ruins, this might be where this clip of Gimmighoul is located. However, we also see pine trees in this clip, which makes me think it might be in a northern part of the map since those trees are typically up there. There will be quite the variety of Pokemon that we can catch in this area. While there are a lot of bug and grass types, we can also catch the electric type Pawmi. As I said earlier, this spiral tower is very important in helping us place other clips. Here's a Rotom map version of that spiral tower. Because of the spiral tower, we know that this area is the marsh. There's a land bridge right over here, which we can see in the background of this clip. I know I'm going to be going right towards this marsh because Paldean Wooper is one of the Pokemon I want most on my team. Anyways, that land bridge we saw before connects us to this red rock area. We can also use this bridge, which goes directly from the main city to this area. We see it in a couple of clips, and unlike the other bridge, this one seems to be more man-made. Like before, we can use that spiral tower to figure out exactly what direction we're facing in. Shout out to this person for pointing out that the map on the left is of this area. This red rock area is where we will encounter and face off against Cloth. It has something to do with the Path of Legends in the Herba Mystica, but it's kind of unclear exactly how that entirely works. I'm hoping it'll be similar to those boss battles in Pokemon Legends Arceus, but that remains to be seen for sure. I'm thinking this badge icon on the map might be where we face off against Cloth. We'll be able to encounter multiple wild Pokemon here, of course, including Armarouge. Hint hint, if you want to find Armarouge quickly, head to the highest point on the map in this area. Based on what we've seen so far, it seems like that's where Armarouge will be. There will also be trainer battles in this area, as well as the opportunity for Tera raid battles, which we can take on in multiplayer mode. The next place we reach is Artisan, which is a city characterized by brick roads and red roofed buildings. Right outside the city, we see this area, which is a place to park our Cyclizars. An important thing to note about this place is that it has a gym. Here's a view of the inside of a gym. We can see the different patterns on the walls, which allows us to place this clip of Chairwoman Geeta as well as this clip of Nemona. The footage of the gym test gives us more information about what this area looks like. It seems pretty interesting and diverse. We also find out that although this gym has a windmill at the top, it is not the gym that is near the windmill town, which is a mistake I made in a previous map video. This clip of the player running with Pikachu is located near an Artisan, as we can see from the red roof houses in the background. We can see Artisan in the background of this clip, as well as a waterfall in the distance that will be part of a future nearby area. So we know that these clips of camping are located near Artisan. Let's look at this area next, starting with the red flags and leading up to the city over here. We can see those same red flags in the background of this clip. On the right is the map of this area, with these lines representing the gates. This is where we'll face off against Team Star, eventually making our way towards this building on the map. This is where we'll face off against Mela and her giant car. Going from there, we cross two bridges and head toward this city called Lavincia. It's characterized by mostly blue pavement and these interesting buildings. Like the main city, there are a lot of shops in Lavincia, so if you are interested in character customization, this might be the place that you want to go first. Lavincia is also where you'll be able to battle Iono, the electric type gym leader. She's personally my favorite gym leader, so this might be somewhere I go early on. Continuing on, we get to this area, which is shown like this on the Rotom map. This area is sand colored and rocky and has very interesting land formations. It seems like we're facing off against a Titan Pokemon here as well. This is the most mysterious area of the map because we've seen the least of it, and it's partially obscured by clouds. One of the main features of this area is this giant waterfall. Mostly the area is pretty sandy, but it does seem like there's some areas that blend with grass as well. We can use this waterfall as well as the general features of this area to place these clips of Greavard. It seems like there might be a lot of ghost types in this area, as we also see clips of Ghastly. I'm really not sure about these three clips, but I'm thinking maybe they're in the top corner. The snowy area is is located in the north central part of the map. On the Rotom map, snow is indicated using this white-gray color. We see two different Pokemon centers. This one is right on the edge of this area, while this one is further in. This is likely a map of the second Pokemon Center. As usual, we will be battling different trainers and finding a whole bunch of wild Pokemon, especially ice types. Eventually we'll reach this town, which I'm assuming is Glaciado. Here we'll fight the gym leader and his Titan. Note that this curved rock formation matches up with the rock formation in the Cerulege clip right here. So that means that Cerulege is probably located very close to the city, in case you're gonna make a beeline for that, which I am. There is a lot going on in this top corner of the map. Let's start off with this city over here, which is interestingly right on the edge of the center crater. We actually get a map of this area with a path leading up towards that crater, and another map showing the paths leading up to this town. Based on the cliffs and the background and the pavement, I suspect that this is in this area, but it might be from the main city. This area is gonna have a very high elevation. It's gonna be one of the most beautiful places to take pictures with our Pokemon. The main feature of this area is a giant lake that empties out into the ocean. We see many evolved Pokemon here, so I think that this will be a relatively more difficult area than the others on the map. It's mostly water types, grass types, as well as some ghost types, especially at night. This waterfall is likely the waterfall shown right here in this clip. Another key feature of this area is that there's an autumnal type of section. That actually helps us place this clip with Cyclizar because we can see a little bit of the autumn-like area in it. Fall is personally my favorite season, so I am so excited to explore this area. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. This part of the map is shown in this clip. We can also see a lighthouse, though it's not the lighthouse that is near our hometown, as well as the windmills in the background. That leads us to our next area where we can see the Pokemon Center, lighthouse, and windmills. We get one clip of this town that's near that lighthouse. There's a Sarina hanging out on a boat, and we're actually able to go on that boat, so that's super cool. We see some shots of the map of this area as well. What makes this desert different than the other desert-like areas we've seen in the other parts of this map is that it is more sandy. So whenever you see like sand dunes, that's this desert. Next, let's move on to this windmill area. We know that this clip is in that same area because we can see the fall trees in the background. These windmills really stand out compared to the rest of the area because it's very flat, so it makes it very easy to find these clips because the windmills are right there. It's like, oh, there's windmills. Oh, hey, more windmills. In addition, the grass in this area is very light green, and it has these like white, fluffy plant things in it. So basically, if you see those things, it's probably in this area. Traveling south of the windmill area, we see this other city as well as a giant waterfall. This waterfall is most likely the one shown in these clips because of the color of the grass. We also get a few glimpses of the city as well as the cave that's located right below it. Is this cave where we find Larvitar and Colossal, or are these two different caves? This last area seems to be kind of an agricultural place. We see a close-up of it here, and these look like farming plots. A lot of the features of this area are similar to that previous grasslands area, but there are some differences. Mainly, this area has some dirt patches, trees, and other forms of foliage. It's also where you can catch a squad of Fido, so that's pretty exciting. And that brings us all the way back to the main city. I hope this video was helpful and gave you a new perspective on what we know so far about the Paldean region. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I can't believe Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are only a few weeks away. Like, I am so excited. Have a fantastic day or night, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!